everybody, it's Honest John again. Well, once again, we've had another mass shooting. This time at a bar in Thousand Oaks, California. 11 people were killed, most of them young college students. Now, we're never going to be able to prevent every single act of violence or incident of gun violence or mass murder. We can't prevent all of them. Just like it's impossible to prevent all crime. But there are a lot of things that can be done to minimize the damage that gun violence wreaks and make gun violence a little less common. Whenever these things happen, gun rights defenders say we should focus on mental illness. This is a distraction. First of all, the gun lobby constantly pushes to make it easier for mentally ill people to get guns. This year the Republicans passed and Trump signed a bill that does exactly that. And second of all, the fact is that people who have a diagnosis of mental illness are no more likely to commit violent crimes or engage in gun violence than the general population. As a rule, it is impossible to tell who is going to become violent, whether they are mentally ill or not. Now, there are specific incidents, when we look back at them, we can see signs that maybe should have been picked up on, especially when people are making posts on social media or statements to their friends and acquaintances that indicate that they're going to do something violent. But even then, those things usually are overlooked and we only notice them in retrospect. The only way to make a dent in gun violence is by making it harder for people who shouldn't have guns to get them. By strengthening background checks, closing the gun show loophole, and keeping better track of guns. Now, an automobile is registered, and you can track it from the day it's manufactured to the day it winds up in a junkyard. The same thing should happen with guns. Guns should be registered in the same way that automobiles are, and whenever there is a transfer of ownership or a sale, then both parties should be required to fill out forms that and send them in so that that gun is tracked, that everybody knows where that gun is. And we also need to pass gun laws with teeth. For example, the penalty for gun trafficking is ludicrous. $1,000 fine at maximum and 1 year in jail maximum, which nobody ever serves a full sentence. Now that law should be changed. The penalty for gun trafficking should be $20,000 fine and at least 10 years in jail, and that's per count. So if somebody sells 100 guns and they get caught, well, they're going to be broke and spending a long time in jail. Now the penalties are so light that prosecutors don't even bring charges when they catch somebody, because it's just not worth the trouble. We need to ban assault weapons and also the kits that turn semi-automatic weapons into automatic weapons. And the ban should again have teeth. The penalties for possession or making those things should be very big. Magazines need to be limited to 10 rounds. Now, I believe that most gun owners are reasonable people. Unfortunately, the loudest voices in the gun debate are not the voices of reason. They are the ignorant, paranoid fanatics who have been brainwashed by the gun lobby into believing that even the most reasonable regulations are an infringement on their rights. And there's no sense wasting time trying to convince those people or engage them in dialogue. What needs to be done is to put people into office that we know are in favor of sensible regulation of guns. And then pass the laws that will do that. And we need to make sure that those politicians know that if they don't, that they will be replaced. And as for the gun nuts, well, we just ignore them. Once the laws are passed, they'll get used to it, especially if they know that they'll go to jail and lose their right to own a gun if they don't. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for watching my videos. And I want you to keep on doing that. Just not on YouTube. If you look down in the description box, you're going to see 2 new links there. One is to my Patreon page, the other one is to a site called Top Buzz. Now on Top Buzz, they're letting me monetize my video and they're not even ads on them. So I'd like you to get in the habit of watching my videos there. Or you can go to my Patreon page, and if you want to become a supporter, that would be great. If you don't, you can still watch my videos there. But for me, YouTube is no longer worth bothering with. It's just a launching pad that I use to put my videos other places on the net. So I do want you to keep on watching my videos, but not on YouTube.